refreshed and looking brand new. Today, I'm gonna take my very first test drive in the 2024 GMC Acadia Denali all-wheel drive. That means I'm not an expert, but I did know somebody who is. Hey, John.
Bri, how you doing, buddy?
Good to see you back.
Yeah, thank you.
John Ambrozic's a salesman here at Smail GMC in Greensburg, and today we're gonna take a test drive in this Acadia. If you're interested in this Acadia or ones just like it, come check it out at smailgmc.com. First thing I want to talk about on the exterior of this vehicle, John, is the color, right? It's
ebony twilight metallic.
yeah.
Kind of gives you just that black look, but you know, sun hits it a certain way, you start to pick up that little metallic hint in there. It's
yeah,
pretty neat.
Like a little bit of sparkles in there.
Yeah, very subtle.
The black makes the chrome on the front of this vehicle really pop and stick out. Love that GMC logo in the front.
They went back to being the full-size Acadia from when they first came out. Gives off vibes of like a miniature Yukon.
Obviously, we have LED headlights, tail lights, and running lights there.
Yep. Your daytime running lights, your turn signals, which are those kind of big C-shape that go around the headlights. Those are pretty cool too when you turn them on, the way that they kind of sweep. The Denali is going to give you a cool feature too when you walk up with a key fob at night. Cool little light intro when you start getting close to the vehicle.
Coming around the side, those wheels are just really vibrantly chrome. Yep. I love that.
Yeah. I mean, you get, you know, with the Denali, that's kind of the standard wheel there. You get distinct from, you know, everything else. The other options, you get, it's a 22-inch wheel. It's the only trim level that you can get that 22-inch wheel on.
Something else that I'm noticing that kind of sticks out here, if you look at the handles here, they are body color in the center as well.
Yeah, you know, you still have the chrome, but you know, it's not overdone.
So we obviously have the body colored side view mirrors here with the turn signal indicators and a little camera down there.
Down the side, you're going to notice on the Denalis, you got your wheel arch moldings and your rocker moldings along the bottom, and depending on the color of the vehicle on the Denali, those are going to be actual body colored on all of the Denalis. Whereas if you're in an Elevation or an AT4, those are going to be like a textured black material.
Let's talk about the entry system here, right? I have the key fob in my pocket.
Yep.
Doors are locked. How do I get in here?
Very easy. Button on all four of the door handles. The driver's side, you just hit the button one time, it's going to unlock just the driver's door. So if you're by yourself, you know, you're not unlocking all four doors, safety reasons, obviously. 2 times on that, if you've got other people with you, 2 times on the driver. It'll unlock all 4 doors. Or if you are, you know, maybe coming up from the back of the vehicle and you need to let somebody in, any of those passenger doors, the other 3 passenger doors, you hit that button, it's going to lock all 4 doors at one time. You hit it once, it's going to unlock all 4 doors.
Really cool. So coming around the back of the Acadia Denali, you can actually notice that those tail lights kind of flicker across there, right?
Yeah, they have that cool sweeping feature.
I got to say the exhausts are really interesting.
Yeah, so again, kind of, you know, going back to that miniature version of a Yukon, you have the quad tips back here on the Denali. You're going to have those square quad tips, which you get quad tips on the back of the Yukon Denali. So again, it's just kind of correlates across.
So to get into the trunk, I'm just going to hit the button here in the back, and we have an automatic tailgate all the way up. Tons of storage space in here. Yeah. And we have let's see what's underneath here. We have a ton more storage space.
Yeah, so again, going back to the 2023 Acadia, you know, them going back to this full-size vehicle, a lot more storage than you had previously. So that'll be really good.
And a lot of tie downs up here. On the right side, I noticed that we have our let downs for the back seats, right?
Yeah, so that feature is only available on a Denali. So you're going to get the power recline 2nd and 3rd row seats. The third row you can actually put up and down. The 2nd row you can fold them down. It's manual folding them back up.
Yeah, and that actually folds all the way down there. Let me go ahead and go up there and fold that down. You can see that has a lot of storage in here, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Those fold completely flat too is the other thing.
Yeah. So that's a nice thing. You know, you put something in there, you don't have to worry about, you know, the 2nd row being up higher than the 3rd row, and it's nothing, the stuff's not laying flat.
Speaking of that 3rd row, let's jump back here and see how much space we have. So to get into the 3rd row, wow, there's a lot of stuff in the 2nd row I can't wait to talk about. I'm just gonna go ahead and put this seat down, right?
So actually, you don't even have to do that, Brian. That's
Really?
just folding it down. Yeah, fold that seat back up.
Yeah.
Now, if you look over on the side there's kind of like a square button.
Oh yeah, there is.
Go ahead and hit that. What it's going to do, it's going to actually tilt that seat up.
Wow.
And then slide it forward to give you access into the back.
Well, that gave me a lot of room to get up into here.
Yeah.
And talking about the room in this back seat, it comes right up to my knees here, but I think we can bring this seat up a little bit
Yeah, so the nice
forward.
thing is this seat up here actually slides.
Oh, yeah.
So that's up all the way. So
Perfect.
giving you more room.
Yeah, and I have like about an inch or two between me and the seat in front of me.
Yeah.
I can sit back here pretty comfortably, and we have a nice little armrest here with a cup holder and another little holder here, and a USB-C charger back here as well as on the other side.
Yeah.
These back seats have that perforated leather as well as that white stitching in there. Really cool. And hey, you probably can't see this from your angle, but back here, this roof actually comes up.
Yeah.
I have a lot of vertical space here as well as some ventilation back here.
Yeah.
One thing that is nice also about these back seats is that I can easily get up into the second row through the center, you know?
Yep, and most people do that. They just kind of scoot between the two, but again, going to the bigger size, more room width-wise between the two seats, and the roof being higher, so you're not kind of contorting yourself to get between there.
And we do have a lot of stuff in front of us here. We got a couple cup holders.
Yeah,
right
and
here.
Nice, you know, they're easy to reach, and then right below that, you're going to see your controls for your rear climate, which is going to control second and third row. And you can do things like your fan speed, your temperature, where you have the air coming out, whether you have it coming out the vents up here along the roof line or down on the floor. You can do a combination. These two outboard seats in the second row are heated, so you're going to see those buttons are there.
Yeah.
And then right below there, you have two USB-Cs, and then you have a 120 outlet off to the right. So
yeah, like a three-prong house outlet there. That's awesome. Not to mention these back windows look really tinted.
Yeah.
And you have like these Bose speakers in the doors too,
yeah,
right?
Another thing, they kind of actually took this cue. You know, if you've looked at any of the Cadillacs recently, that's what Cadillac did. It started a couple years ago, going with the speaker grills, just to kind of give it in that little bit of an accent. They've put that kind of like brushed aluminum grill on there.
So that's a lot of features in these back seats. Let's jump up front and then we'll get this thing on the road. Getting in the front of the Acadia Denali for the first time, John, man, there's wood accents, there's this soft touch leather up top with the white stitching, and there's even some grippier textures up here, all over the place. Obviously, we have this giant screen here. Let's start things up by starting the vehicle up.
Yeah, big difference from the previous versions.
Yeah, I'm noticing it all over, including the steering wheel. Let's start off with that real quick.
Sure.
Left side here, we obviously have our adaptive cruise control settings.
Yep. This one's actually, GM has moved Super Cruise over to the Acadia. So that is your button right there to engage your Super Cruise. You're going to see.
Definitely, we're going to have to test that out on the test drive.
Yeah.
What's the L?
The older Acadias that had the shifter and then you had the buttons, you had the low range. So there was an L button on the side, and you can push that button, and basically you just made it go up to whatever gear, and it would shift normally up to that gear and then stop. So they had the 9-speed transmissions. If you only wanted it to shift up to 5th gear, you would, push it up to 5.
Cool.
It would shift normally to 5, but it wouldn't go past there. This being, they've changed the shifter too, so they've actually kind of gone to this new style shifter, which was actually introduced by GM on the Lyric, which is really similar to Mercedes-Benz shifter. Because of that, you have your park button on the end to put it into drive. You pull towards you and down, it lights up, and then it shows you in the middle. Reverse, pull towards you and push it up.
Yeah.
And then neutral, you just kind of pull it straight back towards you until the end lights up. Since they've moved the shifter and the buttons and everything from here, it's really opened this area.
Yeah, so much less clutter. I love that.
Yeah, kind of streamlined everything.
Looking at the right side of the steering wheel, obviously we have our push to talk button, right? We have Apple CarPlay on Android Auto on this vehicle.
Yep.
Do we have wireless Apple CarPlay?
You do.
Oh, great. Awesome.
Yep. And then this has the built-in Google Assistant, like GM has been kind of introducing over the last few vehicles. Was the trucks, Escalades, those vehicles like that. So as long as you have a Wi-Fi connection, whether it's through OnStar or whether you use your cell phone as a hotspot to go through there, you can use a Google Assistant and it'll do cool things, like change the temperature. You can have it adjust the temperature up and down, change the channels. You can do Google searches, and it's all hands-free. You don't have to push the buttons like you did previously to get a voice command.
Not to mention you have navigation, right?
Right.
So there's a lot of versatility that you have built into the system there, but you can also connect your phone. So maybe people who have Apple phones might wonder, hey, am I going to have any compatibility issues with that?
No, none at all. And the nice thing is, even if you're not using that, you have Google Maps because of the Google built-in.
Oh, that's
so great. With the new screen, I mean that's
that'll
huge.
Even update like traffic patterns and things like that.
Yep, but that's all using Google Maps. You have this nice big map to look at because of this new center infotainment screen.
So obviously you have a lot of different features in here. I'm not noticing that auto park assist too. We'll have to test that out on the test drive.
Yeah.
Different things that I'm kind of stick out to me here. We obviously have some ambient lighting changes.
So that's a new feature for the Acadia in general, but similar to features like you have in the Escalade. So you can you'll have strips that you'll see light up across the dashboard, in the doors. You notice those at night. You can adjust the brightness. You can adjust the different colors depending on drivers and your mood.
Right.
Yeah, so the MyGMC app is it's an app that you can download onto your phones and also access it through the vehicle. But through your phone, you can do nice features like remote start access through your phone, lock and unlock your doors. You can kind of check some other stuff. It'll show you your tire pressure of the vehicle. It'll show you your fuel, how much fuel you have in there. You can go in and do things like purchase accessories strictly for the vehicle. What it does is it's going to pull up your VIN number specifically and just pull up any accessories just for that vehicle, so you're not having to go onto like a website and search through multiple different vehicles to look for those. So you can do some cool things like that.
So for anybody who may be looking for the light displays, I noticed that that's on here as well there, right?
Yep. So it's a little bit different. You have the buttons. You can either shut it off. You have the auto, or you can go, that's your parking lamps, and then your headlights. So you can kind of go in there. Everything is through this screen.
So I noticed that we have the heated steering wheel and our audio settings up here on the right side of this steering wheel as well. Just wanted to mention that, as well as being able to hang up and make your phone calls there.
Yeah.
And obviously you can change what's on your screen up here.
Yep, so that right button is going to change. It's basically going to control your radio.
There we go. Whoa.
So you can actually pull your maps up in front of you. And the really nice thing that I like about that is how it throws your speedometer down to the corner.
So what I'm noticing on the left side of the dash, you can turn on your all-wheel drive system over here and turn it off as well.
Yeah.
You have different drive modes.
Yeah, so they're all going to pop up here, and they give you cool little graphics whenever you do them.
Yeah, we have everything from your off-road mode to sport, obviously your normal, tow haul, snow, ice. There's just a ton of options here.
Yeah.
And for what I understand, Acadias are great in the snow, right?
Very much so. Yeah, they've always been great vehicles, and I'm sure they'll be just as good because now they've gone to a bigger vehicle again. So that, that was always what people really liked about this when they were big, was they were like, man, they're like tanks in the snow. Forward collision settings. So as you kind of adjust the settings for the sensitivity, those lines move. So those are your different settings. And again, the nice thing is your speed's still off to the left, along with this coming with heads-up display. So, it's very configurable that you can, throw a lot of stuff. You can put your, if you were listening to radio over here, you can bring your radio up over here. You could put your maps in front of you. Your speed is there, but then you can put your speed out in front of you, and it'll do other things too. That your speed's always going to be up there, but that heads-up display shows you an awful lot of stuff out there too, as far as your safety features. All of those, when they activate, and when you have them turned on, they're going to show up in front of you, so you know exactly what's going on.
We have our AC controls built into the screen, right?
Correct. Yeah. So now that you have this big screen now, infotainment center and infotainment system here in the middle, it's incorporated all of your controls into here. So you do still have some standard buttons. You have your on and off for your climate control, your auto button, your temperature for your driver, passenger, fans in the middle, your front defroster, rear defroster. So those are actually physical buttons that you can adjust the fan speeds and everything there. But then things like your sync button are right here. So you touch that on and off, that's going to sync the temperature controls. But then your heated and cold seats, so right now you can see both of our ventilated seats are on because they have the fans and the blue buttons. To change those, you can actually, when you push it, it's going to pop up here and you can actually shut them off.
Cool. So some of the things I want to mention down here, John, obviously we have this armrest with really nice leather covering with the white stitching and this wood accent down here. It's really great.
Yeah, and you got that sliding drawer right there that's actually hiding your cell phone charger, USB and a USB-C plug there, along with kind of like a little thing for change or whatever you might want to put in there.
2 cup holders up here. And let's open up this armrest real quick.
Yeah, so you got the armrest, you've got this little tray here, which comes out, and that thing's, pretty deep.
Yeah, I mean, what's really nice, I love that it has a rubber pad in there that you can take out.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about stuff sliding around in there. There's also a little light that's back in here, so when you open it up at night, you will be able to see what's in there. But I really like the placement of this armrest too, because it's pretty much right there. Your arm's not down too low, it's not up too high. It's just kind of like at a perfect height to where you're comfortable.
We obviously have our controls for our sunroof up here as well. So let me go ahead and just open up that shade. I'm just going to press the button once there and the shade's going to go back.
Yeah, so again, this is another kind of new feature really for the Acadia, because when the Acadia was first introduced, you had 2 individual, if you did have the vehicle equipped with a sunroof, you had 2 individual sunroofs. The back one was a fixed piece of glass and it just had a manual shade that closed. It was perforated and always let light through. The front one was the only one that opened, but again, it was just kind of a smaller pane of glass. And even with the smaller, when they redesigned them in 17, they stuck with that version. So this one now has gone to the big panoramic, goes the whole way back pretty much to the 3rd row.
I'd say just to the back of the 2nd row.
So the 1st and 2nd row people, you have, full kind of openness of the sunroof there.
And that means that you can tilt it like that, or I can press this one up and it'll put it back. It looks like we have a nice little windscreen up here too, right?
Yeah, so as soon as that opens up, that windscreen's going to go. And the nice thing is this should... It'll stop and you hit it again, it slides back a little bit further. So again, huge compared to what the old one was, because the old Acadias, they kind of kicked up and slid over top like this did, but you had a window that was this big, but only an opening that went this, because you had the glass actually hanging over. Hazard lights are there. You have an SOS button, which is going to be, as long as you have an active OnStar count, just medical emergencies or, something where you're not actually involved in a crash, but maybe you might need some assistance, paramedics or whatever, you can actually hit that button. You have the OnStar button next to them, so you can hit that, and anything from having them download directions into the vehicle for restaurants. Maybe you're taking a vacation somewhere, they can do that. The other nice thing is if you're ever in an accident and you have an active OnStar account, any of the airbags go off, any of the sensors around the vehicle are triggered because of an accident. They know exactly where you're at, which is huge. Again, if you're doing a lot of traveling, you're out of state, somewhere where you're not familiar, and you're in an accident and you have no idea really where you're at. So they can pinpoint exactly where you're at. Right. And then that last button is basically just kind of voice commands. So you can ask it things, the Wi-Fi settings. You can have it do some other settings throughout the infotainment system.
Wow. The one thing that I absolutely love about GMC vehicles is our next feature, which is this rear view mirror, right?
The rear camera mirror. So you just flip that forward and then you have your adjustments. So you can adjust the brightness. 3 adjustments on those. It's going to be the brightness. You can zoom in and out. This one has 2 settings to zoom in and out, and then your third one is going to be height adjustment.
So that's really good, especially if you want to look down a little bit more, or maybe you want to look up a little bit more.
And this is huge, especially in an SUV, because in an SUV, the back window is so far back, you're trying to look past passengers' seats. You know, maybe you have some stuff back. Cameraman, I mean, you can see right there, boom, he's there, and now he isn't. So you kind of get tired of looking who's back behind you. You can flip that, and you don't have to worry anymore. But huge, because GM claims that this is giving you a 300% wider view of what is behind you compared to just looking through your regular mirror.
Let's just get out on the road.
Yeah.
Let's test some of these features out.
Yep.
And definitely have some fun.
Sounds good.
So John, what's our warranty for the GMC Acadia Denali?
It's going to be your typical GM warranty like they have on everything else. So 3-year, 36,000 mile bumper to bumper. And then your powertrain is going to be a 5-year, 60,000. And then included in there, you're going to have your first service. So your oil change, tire rotation, that's going to be included in there free, along with roadside assistance that's going to extend through your powertrain. So when you buy a vehicle through Smail, you're going to have lifetime state inspections for as long as you own the vehicle.
So we're here at this red light, and I went ahead and activated the adaptive cruise control, which the car in front of us has come to a complete stop, so we're obviously at a complete stop.
Right.
They've started to pick up, so now we're picking up to the speed that I have set, which is 52 miles per hour. I can adjust the gap between me and the vehicle in front of me. So obviously we're going about 41 right now. As I close in that gap, it's going to speed us up till we hit that gap. And just easy as that, we can come all the way down to a complete stop even based on the car in front of us.
Correct. That car, maybe you're just driving on the highway and the car starts slowing down. Obviously the car is going to react and slow you down. Again, if they come to a complete stop, it'll actually stop the vehicle itself, and it will actually apply the parking brake so the car won't go anywhere.
So John, I did notice the lane keep assist is active down here with the car between 2 green lines. I'm just going to inch over here to the left side, and all it's doing...
So you see there it turned yellow, it actually steered you back over. And then once it reestablishes itself in between the lines, you're going to get those 2 lines turning green again to show you that it's back to where it should be. Brian, go ahead. We just got an indication here. If you hit that Super Cruise button, you're going to see the flashing. It's green now. Down below on your speed, you can see the little green steering wheel. That's showing you that the Super Cruise is active, so you can just take your hands off the steering wheel and it'll actually drive yourself. So it's now what it's doing is it's using everything from your lane keep assist to radars and your collision alerts, using all the cameras throughout the vehicle and the mapping that GM has done across the country up into Europe, up into Canada. There's over now 400,000 miles of road that GM has mapped out. So this is huge when you're traveling. And this actually have automatic lane change, so it'll actually change the lanes. It'll apply.
It's doing it right now.
It'll apply the turn signal, and it'll switch lanes when it knows that there's no cars over there.
That's really cool. It's even taking us around these bends here, and it's slowing us based on the car in front of us, keeping us within the lines of the road, obviously. It's just absolutely handling it itself. I haven't been touching the steering wheel at all.
And it's nice because there's a couple ways. Obviously it's something you have to get used to. Sometimes people get a little nervous at first using that, and it's normal. You're not used to you're being in charge really of a car when it's driving. So to kind of put all of your trust, which you can see how it's slowing us down because these cars are leaving, and you're going to see now it's going to speed us back up. But it's normal to not feel comfortable, right? So it takes a little getting used to, but it's always one of those things where, hey, there's always a way to override it. So if you feel like, oh, nope, something's going on, as soon as you hit the brake, it overrides the system. So if you feel like you're not slowing down or you're nervous, hit the brake, it's going to override the system. Again, if you just hit the actual Super Cruise button on the steering wheel, that will actually deactivate it.
Okay.
So,
well, I see no reason to deactivate it because it's been working flawlessly this entire time.
Yeah, it's
this
great.
Is crazy.
This is nice too because it's actually one of those few times where there's enough cars out here where it kind of gives you the full effect of everything.
Insane that this car has been driving itself for the last, I don't know, 3 minutes. Oh, there we go.
Yeah, so there you got Super Cruise disengaging. And I always tell people, again, because it's utilizing the cruise control also, yes, this has the adaptive cruise control on, so it should slow you down, but just to be on the safe side, if you see that, again, to be more comfortable, tap the brake. That way there it overrides all of the cruise control, because in our situation, we're coming up to a stoplight. So what it's going to do, it's going to deactivate that Super Cruise, but then maintain you at whatever your speed that you had. So we're gonna demonstrate this auto park assist. You're going to hit that. You have your perpendicular parking or your parallel. You want to park the right side, and now you're just going to follow the commands on the screen. So there we go.
All right, so we found a spot there.
Yep, it's going to tell you stop. You're going to hit the button there.
Park in vehicle. Take your hands off the wheel and release the parking brake. So I went ahead and did that. It's actually turning the wheel for us. It's showing us the predicted line, so we know how the vehicle's coming into the parking spot.
Yep.
We can look around us, make sure nothing is in our way.
Yeah, I always tell people, hey, be aware. If it looks like it's too close, you can hit the brake. If you hit the brake, and what it's going to do is it overrides the whole system and puts everything in your hand. But we came a little close to that car on the left. It pulled forward a little bit, give us a little bit more of an angle to come in. And you're going to see now it's just pulling us right into there.
Well, let's check out this backup camera, John. We obviously have those predictive lines. As we turn the wheel, the lines change to show us our projected angle into the spot. The other thing I notice here, obviously we can show our front angle, we can show our top front, our top back. We have our side view angle, so I can tell which way my wheels are turning.
Yeah, and this makes it nice too if you're parking alongside of a curb. So you're not, you have these nice big 22-inch wheels. You don't want to be hitting them on the curb and doing damage. So, that way there you use those things and it gets you close.
And obviously we have the 360 view. We have right here, what's really great is we have an alert. Not only visually here telling me, hey, look out behind you, but it's vibrating my seat and alerting me as well.
Right. So that vibration really gets your attention.
So it's easy to see why the GMC Acadia is so loved. It has all these really great features in it. John, if they have questions about any of these features, how do they contact you?
Nice and easy. Just stop down right off of Route 30 and check us out in Greensburg, or check us out on the web. You can look us up under SmailGMC.com.
That's going to do it for our test drive today. So until next time, enjoy the ride.